The Queen Ranavalona III was the last queen of the Kingdom of Madagascar. She is very famous for her fight against the French invasion. In this video, I will give you the story of the last queen of the Kingdom of Madagascar. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please don't forget to click the button below. The Queen Ranavalona III became the Queen of the Kingdom of Madagascar on July 14, 1883. On this day, she gave a very powerful speech, during which she called the ancestors of the island and the people, and she promised the population to protect them and to protect their happiness. When she became the queen, the situation of the country was already very difficult. The British and the French controlled the economy, and the French were still practicing slavery despite its abolition. They were stealing the resources of the country, the rice, gold, coffee, vanilla, sugar, and they were exploiting the population. The missionaries from the London Missionary Society had been on the country for the past 17 years. They controlled the school and the education system. As a result, the traditions had already started to disappear. And the Prime Minister had undertaken reforms which made it even more easier for the French to control the economy. On top of that, he wanted to control everything and refused to share the power with the Queen. He absolutely refused to listen to the Queen's idea to govern the country. The natives were very patriotic and didn't like the French civilians in their country. A lot of white people were attacked or killed. On July 1884, a few months before the Conference of Berlin, the Queen gave a very powerful speech. She addressed it to the population and clearly stated that she refused to give up the freedom of the population to the invaders, and that she will fight for the land that the ancestors gave her. She also said that she will protect all the civilians in the country despite their nationality. But after the Conference of Berlin in 1885, Paris didn't care really much about the last speech of the Queen. They were very imperialist and they were determined to control the island and to make it a new colony. So Paris decided to attack the towns of Majunga and Madame.V, but they were stopped by the royal troops. A treaty was signed at the end of the year in December 1885. French civilians had to leave the country, and France became tutor for foreign affairs of Madagascar. The Queen, very patriotic and supported by the population, didn't agree with that. She started an opposition to the French. In response, Paris sent 20,000 men to the country, but 40% of them died of the flu. The Queen had the support of the population since she had taken the throne. She started a movement of resistance. With the support of the population, she went to the south of the island, where she thought it was still free, but it was already too late. The French government had already sent an army there to invade the island. They attacked the palace of the Queen and destroyed a part of it. A lot of natives and civilians of the island were killed. A lot of soldiers were killed. The Queen was desperate. She didn't know what to do. She saw that she was losing her island and that her population was dying. Full of despair, she decided to make peace, despite the opposition of the Prime Minister. The population didn't understand. Some of them even saw her as a traitor. But the Queen decided to do that to save the life of the population. She was made prisoner of her own palace. She couldn't move and she couldn't go out. The palace of the Queen was surrounded by the French army. The population became very angry and they attacked white people. French civilians were killed as well as missionaries. On February 1896, the Queen Ranavalona III lost Madagascar. The French government sent the governor Gallieni to become the new governor of Madagascar. He was very brutal with the population and he hated the Queen. As soon as he arrived and he took the power, he executed the uncle of the queen and the minister of the army. However, he was very surprised to see that the Malagasy was very organized and the elite was very highly educated, and not just a savage on the island. He abrogated the monarchy and made Madagascar a new colony of France, even without the approval of the French government. On the night of February the 27th, 1897, the French army forced the queen to exile. They entered the palace, the remaining of the palace, and forced the queen to leave. She was protected by Africans and Algerian soldiers, and they marched through the forest for a week before arriving to the island of Réunion. But Gallieni thought she was still too close to Madagascar. He thought that maybe she could escape and take over the power in Madagascar. So he sent her to Algeria in a very highly supervised residence. She was sent over there with her sister, a niece, one of her auntie, and 3 servants. Her life in Algeria was very difficult. Her allowance was decided by Gallieni, and the budget was cut off from the budget of Madagascar. Her allowance was set by Gallieni and was not enough for her and the people who lived with her. Many times she sent requests to Gallieni to increase her budget because it was not enough for all her expenses, but Gallieni refused every time. She couldn't even leave her new home in Algeria to see her doctor, and her doctor had to take an authorization to visit her. The Queen passed on May 23, 1917, at the age of 56 years old. Until her last day, she never stopped to fight for her people. She never stopped to fight for her country, and she never stopped to love her people. She never went back home, and she passed in Algeria. During the last few years of her life, she was devoted to help sick people and people in need. Her remaining was sent to Madagascar, and she was buried in Madagascar in 1938 with the royal tombs. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to click the button below. Love and power to all of us.